Joker, that just came out. Definitely review it soon here. But of course, just inform everyone, there's violence warnings about this film. Don't take your kids to it. I'll agree to that. Don't take your kids to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's not really a popcorn movie. It's not an Endgame movie, let's say.
Yeah.
But it's basically because the tone is so serious with the violence. It's not as violent as a Deadpool film or Endgame even, I guess you could... Well, maybe not Endgame, but it's just the tone. It's
the tone, and even past the violence, it's the psychological aspect that kids just aren't going to understand. Those are going to be some uncomfortable conversations for parents.
Yes.
To even past the violence, well, why is he acting this way? And why, those are... But again, at the same time, too, that's, in my opinion, kind of what the film is telling us.
Right.
The unspoken language of mental illness. Well,
and all this violence warning is really coming from the Aurora Theater shootings back in 2012, because the nut job supposedly said he was Joker. Although I did read saying that, I guess he never said that, but it's forever attached to... And the Joker wasn't even in that film. The Dark Knight Rises was the film.
Yeah.
It wasn't even in that film. That was a midnight screening, I believe, and I happened to be at a midnight screening here.
Yeah.
And they were the same theater chain, I think. And so one of my friends actually called me. He's like, "Are you all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's in, Colorado.
That's out of town."
Yeah, thankfully. But
no kidding.
It made you think afterwards, after all that happened, like, you are vulnerable. You're in a theater. There's no security, no cops, none of that.
I know people that are scared to go to the theater just because of those kinds of stories.
Yeah.
And is that a little irrational? Maybe. But at the same time, I mean, that's what happens.
Do you recall your first time back to the theater after all that happened? Were you a little nervous to go? Or?
No, I'm just praying it happens when I'm there. No, I'm just kidding. It doesn't, none of that stuff stops me.
Yeah.
I just... You can't let it.
It didn't stop me. It just there just happened to be like really nothing out I wanted to see. But when I did go finally, it was in the back of my mind, but it wasn't like I was like, oh my god. But I did look for the exits.
And, there you go.
And I definitely will shut a door if someone props it open and leaves.
Yeah.
Like, no, not happening. It's sad that has to be threatened. That luxury of, going out of your home to see.
Well, and enjoying yourself, and it's supposed to be a fun experience. It's
even with terrorist acts. I was at Flicks 2 years ago, maybe, and this guy next to me, he was sitting in one of those seats they have where it's not really a seat. It's just kind of like, we got to just fit someone in here.
Oh yeah.
And they got like a little tray,
Yeah.
And he was pretty normal throughout the movie, but he left all of a sudden, and there was a backpack. And I was sitting right next to it. I'm like, so this is how it ends. Like,
oh, boy.
But he came back. But I was just like, what the? Yeah. I'm like, man, I'm having such a good time. And you had to leave your bag. Like, what's going on? My mind's going all crazy.
Right.
Like, what's in the bag? What's in the box?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You can just barely see through it. A little red light blinking. It's getting faster.
Yeah. I'm like, sir? Yeah. So were you a big midnight screening fan before all this happened?
So I'm a huge midnight screening fan.
Really?
Unfortunately, I realized, and it was either Green Lantern or the very first Avengers movie.
Yeah.
Where it was the last time I did it because I realized how old I am.
Yeah.
And, like the next day at work was just, that was completely worthless. You know?
Right.
So, I mean, it was just, I love them. I think they're fun. I think they're cool, and I saw Joker on Thursday, but it was a 7:30 show, not a midnight show. And
sure.
So, yeah, I wish I was young enough to be able to do that again, but yeah, I'm too old.
Well, did they start screening the movie for the first time earlier because of all this?
And that's a great question. Maybe.
Because I didn't really notice it until after that went down.
Yeah.
Now that you can see a movie before it comes out on a Friday, like 6 o'clock or so, night before.
Yeah.
It's not at midnight.
Right.
I definitely had one of my first experiences going to a midnight one was X-Men 2.
Yeah.
And that was great. It was just kind of a thrill, like, ooh, I'm out late, and
Well, when Jennifer was an assistant manager at a movie theater, we do midnight screenings all the time, but it was just us and some friends.
Yeah.
And we'd watch a film the day before it came out.
Right. Right.
That was always cool.
That was fun. I got to do that once when Joey worked at the theater. Yeah, I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
Like, screener.
We had pizza and we're just chilling and eating, and watching Independence Day the day before it comes out. It was pretty cool.
And, just regarding the show, I've tried to, like, become, like, get the screenings, whatever.
Yeah.
And they don't offer them around here.
Yeah.
So, I wish we could get reviews out there sooner. But
right.
Yeah, the whole security thing. When you went to see it, you actually had protection. Right.
So on Thursday night, there was a police officer inside, standing right outside the theater door, and that was the first time I've seen the managers also attend the door at a screening for anything.
Right.
Usually you get your ticket, you get past the popcorn area, and you're on your own to get to the theater and go in and find your seat. Yeah, so it was fairly well guarded.
This is IMAX.
This is at IMAX,
yeah.
and so it was weird, but I think about location, and I think that obviously anybody can snap and lose their cool, but
can happen anywhere.
It can happen anywhere, but the propensity of it happening and the risk of it happening in a place like where we saw the movie,
right,
is so insanely low that I saw him after we left and stuff in that little room off the side, and it didn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I work in a place where we have a police officer working in the lobby, so I mean, it just doesn't.
Do you recall there was a sign up about restrictions, like don't wear makeup to this, cosplay?
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I didn't really see it either.
Someone, I can't remember if it was Claire or Jennifer, had seen someone in full Joker. Jennifer had seen someone like a couple hours before that in full Joker makeup. So obviously they were going to the movie at some theater, but yeah, they were all dressed up.
Cops drug him into a bathroom, rinsed his face,
right,
in the sink, in the toilet.
Just give him a, that's hilarious.
Came out all disheveled, ready for the movie,
laughing like the Joker.
Yeah,
and that'd be even more creepy.
Right, like carry on. Yeah, Joey said that the cop at his theater looked annoyed.
Like, why am I here?
Like, what the hell?
Where'd he go? What theater?
I don't know, actually. Probably Jordan Creek, I imagine. Yeah. But yeah, my screening last night, no, there's no security. No. They didn't care about us.
Yeah, I think they realized.
You're on your own. Although, if there was like a shooting to take place, how they got the seating now, you have a wall you can actually duck behind.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah. And my mind does go there, like, what if that went down? Like, how the hell am I going to get out of here?
But is that wall reinforced enough, depending on
probably
the fact
not.
It
might go right through. As I get hit, like, that was a bad idea. Yeah.
It'd slow it down.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, there's a lot of steps in the IMAX.
A lot of steps. And
come on up.
Yeah.
Shit, it's a workout getting up there.
Right. And they have the exit upstairs, too.
Yeah.
So
I was kind of shocked that Joker was playing at the IMAX, because I don't know if it was shot in IMAX. It is, I mean, it's breathtaking to see that screen either way, but yeah, we're very lucky to have that here finally in the...
and I love that so much better than the Dome version. Yeah.
I can't go back to that. I just can't.
I know, I saw it once and I'm like, I mean, I was used to the one at Henry Dorley Zoo where it's just kind of like ours. It's just huge and big. And
yeah, the Dome was my first introduction to IMAX. I thought that's what IMAX was for many years.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, there actually is screen. I'm like, what?
I went to the Dome and I'm just like, I'm just going to take a nap. I don't want to look around all this.
Well, they warn you there about motion sickness, but at the regular IMAX, they don't talk about that at all. Yeah. So it's just
crazy.
Yeah, it's a great view, that's for sure. Yeah, let's get into the Joker film. We'll start with non-spoilers. What were your thoughts before and after, I guess?
So before, so many people are always... There's been iconic Joker actors, Nicholson, Ledger...
Leto. I'm just kidding.
Or controversial.
There you go.
Actors.
Good way to save that. Good PR move.
Right. So, yeah. But Joaquin Phoenix, he's an actor. Mm-hmm. I was not at all worried that he wouldn't do this role justice, just because of his talent. Mm-hmm. So I was very excited, to see it. And, so going in, I had that. And I am easy to please when it comes to movies generally, but this movie was phenomenal. I mean, I walked out of it just, holy smokes.
Yeah.
It was unreal. And I knew as I left, I said, this is going to be very polarizing for critics, you know, and I can see that, but
yeah, some love it, some hate it.
I haven't seen. It was an okay movie.
Yeah,
I've seen Brilliant, and I've seen this is just.
It's hard to tell anymore if they just want
to glorifies,
go against the curve or whatever. Like,
yeah,
I didn't like it,
right?
And Rotten Tomatoes can kiss my, you know what, but
right.
I guess that's not high right now, but like I said, I don't really care what they.
Yeah,
think.
was it 70% last time I saw?
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's crazy,
but yeah, and I think less about that than I do like a place like IMDb, where it's just user rated. I'm pulling it up right now,
sure.
Actually.
Recently with the Rotten Tomatoes, the audience numbers have been like complete opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the Joker on IMDb, 81,571 ratings at 9.1 out of 10.
Wow.
So I'm pretty sure the fans are enjoying it. The people who are seeing it. So that's crazy high.
People are intrigued. Really, they're going to go see it, and they're not going to really. Yeah, they'll be critical, but they're going to go there to have a good time.
Right.
Hopefully not be inspired.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
If only to be inspired to think, let's say.
Well, and that's what that movie was to me. Was a kind of a wake-up call.
Exactly.
And to encourage people to think and to, and maybe to get into some of the details of the movie, if that's okay.
Warning, if you haven't seen the movie yet, please do so and come on back. Otherwise, we'll be going into spoiler territory now.
His notebook, his journal.
Yes.
Had all sorts of craziness in it. But the one line that stuck out was the worst part about having a mental illness is people expect you to behave as if you don't.
Right.
And that's, if there's anything that's cutting from a societal tone, there it is.
Yeah.
Right there. That's what that movie is really encompassing.
What is normal?
Yeah, and there's people look at mental illness with shame. They don't look at it as something that they should correct, and oh, hey, here's your pill. You should be fine now. Or just get over it. That's not how it works. And this film, I don't think it glorified incels. I don't think it glorified violence. I think it glorified that society needs to wake the hell up and take a stronger look at mental illness.
Exactly.
So I thought the picture was brilliant.
Yeah, that's definitely the message I got. You're not agreeing with his actions, but it's basically like if mental health is unchecked, anarchy can ensue, and it affects oneself, and it spreads like a virus. It can,
right.
Especially with rioting and all that, unstable people, let's say. In our state alone, I'm not trying to get political or anything, but we've closed down a lot of mental institutions, and that's not good. That's a big step backwards. I'd say.
People don't care about mental illness like they do anything else.
Right.
It's something to be shunned.
Yeah, because everyone's they're just out of touch,
and
that's the problem. You should try to level with people who are on a different, frequency, let's say,
right,
and kind of come to a agreement, not put them down, with hate,
right.
Try to understand where they're coming from and come up with a solution. It's kind of like a negotiation in a way. I don't know, not a negotiation, but just a common ground.
Right.
There's always a common ground.
Right.
Whether you want to get there or not, that's the next question.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely what I took from it. And yeah, I don't think at all it made it violence look great.
Right.
Like his decisions, I think you saw how he got there, but once he got there, I didn't at all have any sympathy really at that stage, because you become a murderer. Society has already failed you, and sadly you're now out of control. It's their bad, really. And
exactly.
Also it's he didn't have the best parent.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. And that, that shows another piece of the whole puzzle, how
Sure.
important upbringing is and how important all that stuff is put together. And
absolutely,
as the movie went on, you found out more and more about his childhood and some of the trauma that was, that was there for him then. And, he never had a chance.
No, not really.
He really didn't.
No,
not
at all. But I applaud the film. It literally looks like they went back in time. It's shockingly good.
Yeah.
Like it looks like 70s, 80s New York.
Right.
Not to say I know what that looks like, but just from watching old movies, especially like Scorsese films, which this has kind of been inspired by in many ways. It's like Taxi Driver kind of. It's got a lot of similarities to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it only cost $55 million to make. It's shocking how good it looked.
That and the quality of the writing.
Yeah.
Writing doesn't cost money.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is proof that you don't need to spend $200-300 million on a movie,
right,
to have people walk out of it with their minds blown.
And it only had like 2 writers. The director is one of them.
Yeah.
Todd Phillips, I believe, and someone else. A lot of cooks in the kitchen are not really a good thing. And that happens a lot. No,
this was a vision movie, and the vision was kept. It doesn't smell like the studio interfered with this movie very much, if at all.
Probably because of the budget, hopefully.
And for Warner to not, stick their stupid nose into something it was very impressive.
Right.
And maybe it's because it's been hailed as a one-off the entire time.
Right.
And that's fine. I don't know that this needs to go beyond a one-off. I don't think there's nothing left to tell with this. So, so good for them. But, just even using the old Warner logo at the beginning, was just an awesome touch, So this movie was like going right back to the early 80s, and
all the fonts were like old style.
Everything.
Yeah. It was like it was made back and they really did a good job, I thought. I didn't really catch anything that like technology wise was not inserted properly.
Right.
Like everything looked pretty accurate. He's smoking like all the time, which that's what they used to do.
Yeah.
I recall seeing like old office equipment, when I started working in an office, they're trying to get rid of it and it had all the tar stains. And that's what I was thinking the whole time when he was talking to people. Like, my God, all that stuff's got to be caked.
Right. Exactly.
Shit. So gross.
Yeah. We moved into an apartment once, just very quick sidebar. And the prior tenant smoked, and just washing the windows. It was like yellow on the. It was gross.
Yeah. Well, when my parents bought my grandparents' house, my grandparents were smokers. They repainted.
Yeah.
Like right when we moved in.
You have to.
I remember the night we moved in, I was in my bedroom and they were painting out in the living room late. Yeah.
It's caked into the walls. You got
not a good look.
It's not. But
not a good condition to live. Yeah.
But it was just the film was. I thought it was brilliant.
Sure.
But, I also knew after I saw it, because generally I'm not as quick as you guys are, so I always tend to try to wait. But that next day I'm like, well, I want to see what people are saying.
I saw it before I did. I was, I was like, whoa.
And so I was, so I went online and I was kind of reading reviews, and they were just one extreme to the other, praise or hatred. So
the production and set design, the locales were incredible. That whole staircase or those stairs leading up to his apartment, like that view, like, man, like all of that was beautiful. Like,
it was shot.
It's like you never seen something like that before, and it was real.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's a lot of CG used.
No, they weren't in front of a green screen at all.
Yeah.
Do you know where it was filmed?
I don't.
I'm going to look that up. I was just curious.
I don't know because, man, like I said, it really looks like they went back in time.
Yeah.
Like, it's shockingly
It was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I know that after the movie, we were all talking in the car on the way home, and my wife thought that he'd get nominated for an Oscar for it, but wouldn't win.
I could see that.
He'd probably win like the Golden Globe.
Sure. Because of the controversy, you think, or just
that, and there's that role versus like Tom Hanks playing Mr. Rogers.
Oh, sure, yeah.
You might as well just. Why is everyone else trying this year?
Yeah.
I mean, and it's not necessarily because of Tom Hanks. I mean, he's a great actor.
Sure,
but he's playing Mr. Rogers. Everyone loves Mr. Rogers.
Right. Right.
So,
and they explained his condition, which I thought was really. I don't know if they've ever. I don't think they have touched on this in a comic, but there actually is a condition, and I couldn't pronounce it. That's why I'm not saying it. But it's basically uncontrollable laughter when you're nervous or anxious, scared. So, like, all those scenes, like, knowing that he had that condition, I think was a good way to not maybe laugh at him. Because you take that out of the equation, you're like, man, he's so crazy.
Yeah.
But no, it's like he can't control it. And it like he's trying to stop it, and it like hurts his throat. Like it's crazy.
Right. And then you have the one scene that makes you question everything, where the guy makes the joke at his workplace, and he's going to go see his boss. And as he's leaving, he's laughing at the guy's joke and then just stops.
Yeah. Right. And I caught that from the trailer.
Huh. You know,
Yeah.
and so it was just
Like all my predictions were pretty much out the window.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause I thought he was told he should laugh or something, and that's why it was such an act. But yeah, that whole rapport with the clowns, that whole lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know? And yeah, everyone pretty much treats him like shit. Even the guy who gives him the gun.
Yeah.
In the beginning, you're like, oh, he actually cares about him. No, he's basically just trying to set him up to get
him fired.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he had no...
I'm like, were they giving guns away back in the day
he had
in a
no
bag?
friends, you know.
No, he didn't.
I have a whole closet full of guns and bags.
Paper sacks.
Here's
some bullets.
Right. Just randomly
Oh, that's a battery. That's that way.
Double A battery.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course, I thought, just from the previews, like, I thought his mom was, like, someone good.
Right.
For him, and he was a caring son, and he took care of her. But then,
and then he finds out the truth about his mom and his past, and that went out the window.
Yeah, well, and, you know, obviously we're in spoiler territory, but she reveals in the letter that he caught, because she keeps talking about Thomas Wayne. She used to work for them, and if he knew how they were living, he would help, and da-da-da-da. And the whole time I was like, I think I'm right, and so are a lot of other people. And I'm like, Steve, I already knew you liked the movie, but I'm like, how do you accept this? But then it takes a turn later on. The letter revealed that Thomas is his father.
Right.
I was like, Arthur Wayne. Okay, interesting. Very interesting. I kind of was all right with it, but then they totally change it down the road where he's trying to get... Is he trying to get a hold of Thomas Wayne or something?
He wanted to go meet him and talk to him, and...
that didn't go well.
It didn't go well.
Well, he first went to Bruce.
Right.
That was really creepy.
That was as creepy as it gets.
Grabbed his face and made him smile. We've seen that from the preview. Was that big dude Alfred, you think, with the beard?
I think it was.
Did he? I can't recall if he had an English accent or not.
I think he did.
Yeah.
But I think that was meant to be the Alfred character.
Right. I like how they didn't really go into the Batman mythos too much. Like, it was just enough for the kid to say, I'm Bruce.
Just enough, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't need like, oh, come here, Master Bruce.
Right,
Alfred, what are you doing?
Yeah, they didn't force feed everybody.
Not really. It was just kind of peppered in there, you know, rightfully so. You don't need to just hammer it in. Basically, his whole life was a lie. His mom was crazy, just like Thomas Wayne said.
Right.
Because Thomas Wayne denied he was his father and then punched him.
Yeah.
Because he had that laughing condition. That's the other thing that sucks about that condition is he's got this card and he was trying to whip the card out and he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
In time. Because Thomas just socked him right in the face. Yeah. So him finding out the truth, stealing that file, didn't help. He almost got the file and then...
Yeah, at the mental hospital, he went and found his mom's file.
Yes.
Stole it and then finds out that Thomas Wayne is not his father.
He's adopted,
He's adopted, yeah.
And he's had a history of abuse. His mom was abused, but she's also crazy. And Arthur was found tied to a radiator.
Tied to a radiator and, you know,
head trauma.
Completely head trauma, malnourished. I mean, the whole thing. I mean...
So he probably he didn't have that condition naturally. It just happened through...
just abuse and torture, basically.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, and I was really shocked when the funding got cut because it's all a build-up. The whole movie's a build-up, you know. Was it the garbage men are striking? There's trash on the streets. It's just really getting shitty out there. You got Thomas Wayne talking about fixing things. You know, he's not really portrayed in the best light.
No, he's
out
kind
of
a
touch.
jerk.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, and he calls everyone clowns.
Right.
And basically doesn't try to get to their level. Not to say like you have to listen to all these.
Yeah, he had no empathy at all.
Yes.
But looked at himself as the one who was going to save everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, it really flipped the script on
kind of set up
what that looks
Bruce's
like.
psyche
right.
in a way, but Bruce did it wisely.
Right.
Who knows if they ever go back to this world because it's a one-off. would that Batman be different? Would the Batman be killing people? It's like
he'd be more Frank Miller Batman.
Probably, yeah. I could definitely see that. But yeah, they cut funding for mental health basically, and Arthur's cut off he's on 7 medications, which I was just thinking like, I don't think they could do that now with laws, but back then or in the movie. I'm not saying this is a historical piece, but
right.
I definitely could see it easily back in the day.
Well, even then they didn't have the regulations that they have today. So,
it's kind of viewed as a privilege, maybe.
Right.
Cosmetic. Whatever. Maybe. Yeah.
And
we can just cut you off. You'll be fine.
But even so, the overall event is still pretty accurate today. Fundings get cut. In Iowa, we've seen, like you said, we've seen mental health facilities be shut down left and right, and the attention on mental health is it's absolutely secondary because no one wants to talk about it.
Right.
Yet, the most mentally ill person in the country is running our country. So,
yes.
There you go.
Exactly. The Jokers, this was a concept introduced in Batman Beyond. From my standpoint, we get followers of the Joker in this film. So I really saw them. I don't know if it was intentional, but they borrowed a lot from what we've seen already, even though this is its own story. De Niro's death is very similar to a talk show host's death in Dark Knight Returns. I saw that coming. Yeah. I was like, this isn't going to end well.
Oh, yeah. You knew it wouldn't.
Yeah.
It was a matter of how, not if. You knew it was going to happen.
De Niro was a dick, though. I mean, I don't think Johnny Carson ever did things like that, like find a shitty comedian and exploit him. Maybe he did. I don't know.
Really, but I mean, what De Niro did isn't anything different than what they do today on talk shows.
True. I mean, Kimmel himself embarrassed, I guess, Joaquin. I don't know if it's an act. I haven't seen the clip, but he got an outtake, and it's kind of a Bell moment because Joaquin's he's a thespian, and
he's method all the way.
Yeah, exactly. Can you imagine him and Bale in a movie?
Oh boy,
they'd be competing with their methods. This would be crazy.
I wouldn't even want to be on that set.
No, not at all. The outbursts and stuff.
But De Niro did a great job.
He did.
He's of course he can read the phone book and make it sound interesting, But his character wasn't. It was just everyone was a reflection of what society is. I mean, De Niro was kind of the semi-bully a-hole, just poking some fun, and maybe he wasn't the worst, because then you have like the parent, the mom, that's horrible. You have the social worker who doesn't care. You're seeing almost every facet of society actually being represented in a negative light,
like the worst cases possible.
And then we see the result of that. It all led to a snap.
That condition got him into the snap with the guys on the subway.
Right, because he'd already been repeatedly beat up and going through everything.
Now he had a gun.
And you give a guy like that a gun, guess what's going to happen?
Right. There are serious moments that are funny, and I mean, it's kind of demented. It is demented. The hospital scene where everything's looking great for him. He's performing for the kids. He brought the damn gun with him, and it comes out of his pants, and he picks it up, and I think the kids spotted it. I don't know if everyone did, but he was just kind of like, he did that gesture about keep it quiet, and then he's fired, of course. The
humor in it was that uncomfortable humor, but
and I think I was like, oh shit.
There was parts that you had to laugh at. It was uncomfortable,
but it never was like, oh, I'm totally rooting for this guy,
right?
I think people are getting that mixed up in what they're thinking of the film. Like,
well, that's just it. The people that would root for him are the people that the film was really made for. The mental.
Those are the people to talk
issues,
to.
Right?
That's probably what the film's goal is.
Exactly.
Like, find these people.
Find
talk
these
to
people
them.
that like him, and let's get them in a room.
They should do a questionnaire after the movie. And were you okay with the outcome?
Right,
like, it was great. All right, come this way. Oh, there's a van. What's going on? Here's your jacket.
So exactly, but so I don't think it glorified at all.
No. I mean, a lot of these violent threats are really propaganda, you could say. Not saying they're not entirely not valid.
Right.
There is, of course, some caution. Definitely not a kid's movie. Would never say to bring your kid to it.
No.
But like I said before, Deadpool was more violent. It's just the tone that was used. The gun fires when you kind of don't expect it. Him in the apartment, I was like, this isn't going to end well.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't think it was going to fire either. It scared the crap out of him.
No. Did the Zazie Beetz twist shock you a little bit? I thought it was too easy for him to get with her. Because I thought, like, her impression of him when he kind of mimicked her shooting herself in the head didn't go off too well. And then that night he snaps, he walks to her apartment and kisses her. And
it's on.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they're together.
Oh, okay, that's crazy. Is she okay? Does she know what he did?
No, but it's the conflagrance, the ability to create his own fictional universe and show it as his own reality.
Yeah.
It's also indicative of mental illness.
And then when he's aware that it was all... Yeah, because the turn is when he comes to the apartment. She's like, you're Arthur, right? I'm
right.
Like, oh, shit.
Yeah, none of this ever happened.
Moment.
Right,
yeah.
Exactly. So... Yeah, that was... I don't know. The movie was riveting.
It sucked, because... I mean, not the movie.
Right.
It just sucked, you knew where it was going to go, obviously. And you did feel for him in some cases. But, yeah, once you start killing people, like... The subway thing, he was justified with the first guy we were talking about. Sure. But then he goes to track down the other
the second you start running for someone...
And you're already shot...
Yeah, you've gone from self-defense to premeditation.
Yes.
So it's...
And he just kept shooting him, and then he just runs off. Like, that's probably why they made this film in that time setting, because now you have security cameras and all kinds of stuff. Like, they would find in an instant. Of course, we did have cops that were actually... And at first, when they walked up to him, I thought one of them was Gordon or something, But they, I'm glad they didn't go there. Yeah. It would have been so easy to, and they didn't. And I applaud him for doing that. Him killing his mom. Yeah, she's not the mother of the year, but damn, that's a terrible way to go, Because beginning of the film, it's like he loves her, and then he's just like,
well, it's the ultimate betrayal.
Burn it all down, pretty much. Yeah,
yeah. You feel bad for people in those situations, but you're right. I mean, you don't just because you feel bad doesn't mean that you exemplify the solution that he chose.
Right. Like, I think the mom should have got punished, not killed.
Right.
But it was probably too late. She's already dying.
She's dying anyway.
Yeah.
She'd have been dead in days.
Right.
The way it looked like in the movie.
Right.
But,
because as he beats the illusion said she's going to be fine. So that goes to show you, like, she really wasn't.
Yeah, that's him creating that.
Right. Exactly.
She's gorgeous, by the way.
Yeah.
Man, she was in
Deadpool too.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, she's a great actress. That was a good character. I don't know if it was... I think the only reason why she was in it was maybe just to show... In his mind, he ended up getting a love interest.
Right.
But then it was taken away, so... I'm just glad that her kid wasn't harmed. I like that whole scene in the apartment.
Her or her kid. Right, exactly.
Yeah, so...
And it showed you his code, though, too, in a way.
In a way, yeah.
I mean, they didn't wrong him personally.
Yeah.
Just like the little guy.
Yeah.
He let him go.
Tense. Yes.
Right. That scene was tense. Kissed him on the forehead. I thought 30 times this guy was going to die in different ways.
Oh, yeah. Because,
he
put the chain on the door, and I was like, he's going to give him hope.
Yeah.
And at first I'm like, oh my gosh, it's happening. And then he gets up, and you're like, oh. Yeah. And then he opens the door, and then he closes it again. I'm like, oh God, don't do this.
Exactly.
And then he lets him go, and I'm like, wow, he had a lot of time to put all that stuff on before the cops came. Because then, Joker's officially born.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the makeup's really cool effect. It's something different. I love the suit.
Yeah.
A lot of criticisms have been this is too much like Taxi Driver. It borrows a lot from Scorsese. And I do understand that, but it's like when you're pitched something like, if you say Batman gets dropped off in the jungle and he fights a predator-like creature, you could say that's a knockoff or whatever.
Right.
But it is intriguing. It does get your mind going like, what if you put a character like that with another character similar?
Yeah.
So with that said, like, you could say it's a copy of Cuckoo's Nest. I think that was another thing they related to, or King of Comedy. But it put that character in that setting, which I think is the interest. There.
And it makes it original.
Yes.
Right. I mean, you can't make a mob movie without comparing it to The Godfather or Sopranos.
Exactly.
There's always going to be a similarity somewhere, and that's okay.
It's like, there's feast scenes, and then there's killing.
Right.
And then there's good jokes, funny jokes. It's like,
Star Trek and Star Wars are the same because there's lasers. It's lazy thinking.
Right. overall, I thought the film was good. Yeah, I thought it was great. It really made you think, and I think that's something we need more these days. And sadly, the superhero genre films attract more people now because it's kind of like a, like what Scorsese said about theme parked movies. Like, it's kind of a shoo-in. You're gonna get your money's worth. You're gonna have a good time. You're not gonna be challenged or take a chance. And the movie doesn't turn out to be something good.
And people don't want to be challenged,
right? So they actually try to they take the Joker out of the equation and they made this film. I don't think it would get as much attention, obviously, with moviegoers. And so it is interesting to see, especially come award season, like, what's it going to look like? I definitely see the art direction being plotted. It was very, very good. And people, they look at Thanos like he was one of the better villains in recent history. Yeah. But then when you look at him, even compared to the Joker, it's... Yeah, I mean, it's clearly a cartoon version. Right. But I'm not dismissing what they did with Thanos. I think it's very impressive. But totally different level of filmmaking. Mm-hmm. I mean, I would argue
it's apples and oranges. Really.
Yeah. I think it's all really cinema, but I get what Scorsese was saying. And the funny thing is, I thought he actually produced this Joker film, but I don't think he did. Couldn't find him.
I don't think he did either.
I thought in the beginning there was talk he was going to make the film, wanted to make the film, and then when De Niro came in, I thought, oh, this is what's going on. Yeah. But no, actually, I couldn't find him as a producer anywhere.
Interesting. Yeah,
so it was pretty shocking. That would kind of be a way to connect the dots. Like, well, of course he's saying MCU sucks because he's got this new film.
Right, for DC.
But he doesn't. So,
yeah, he doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has no stake in the game.
No.
So...
no. And I get what he's saying. And, you have these arguments with even Netflix. And, it's like, well, is this movie real cinema if it's not in a theater? Right. Although it's going to get some releases. Discussion always is key. Just like going back to the mental health thing. Like, have discussions. Don't assume... everybody shouldn't have a voice or, stand back. I got this. I'm a rich guy. I'm going to run things. And, everything's going to be great.
I think Scorsese would like Marvel's Netflix series.
For sure.
That's much less popcorny.
Yes.
I mean, I bet he would love The Punisher.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm sure he would. So definitely recommend the film.
Yeah, I want to see it one more time in the theater. And then, of course, I want to buy it. But it's not like Star Wars where I'll see it like 3 or 4 times in the theater just to try to get the experience overload. But I do want to see it one more time.
It's not one to like binge. It's just kind of like, it is like an art house movie. Yeah. It's something to collect, I think, and have it to be there, and it's something to show people.
Yeah, and I think it's important to watch every now and then something like that with that kind of a message. Mm-hmm. Because it's an important message that's not delivered today.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, and, it's nothing wrong with being challenged and entertained at the same time.
Right, exactly.
It's a good film, and I think eventually we'll all see it, and we can I'm sure we'll be talking more about it. There'll probably be more revelations after you see it again. Yep. I don't know if I'll see it again in the theater, but that was kind of another thing I was... sadly, I was like, I think I'll be all right with this screening because... you have to pay $18 to see it in IMAX, and I don't see a guy who wants to do any harm paying that. It's like, I have to have a budget,
Yeah, I'll probably see it next time it's Jordan Creek. Yeah. Because I belong to their thing. And,
Same here. Yeah. It was cool to see on IMAX, but I was shocked it was put on IMAX.
I just love their popcorn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the dome thing. Oh, yeah. Fridley Theaters, check them out. Especially if you're in Iowa, obviously.
Yeah, no kidding.
Fly in if you want to just check them out.
Fly in, it's actually worth it. No, that theater's great.
It's awesome. Yeah.